What am I to do? My girl wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. My girl wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. My girl wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. My girl wants to party all the time, party all the time. Girl, I see you at night just hanging out and dancing. You give your number to every man you see. And I hate that. Girl, you're never at home because you're out romancing. I wish you'd bring some of your love home to me. But my girl wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. But my girl wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. But my girl wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. But my girl wants to party all the time, party all the time. She likes to party all the time. She lets her hair down. She likes to party down. She likes to party all the time. She likes to party all the time. I mean, you don't have to give your number to every man you see. I can understand if you like to party, even. But my girl wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. But my girl wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. But my girl wants to party all the time, party all the time. She likes to party all the time. She lets her hair down. She likes to party down. She likes to party all the time. She likes to party all the time.
Ando por las calles en el centro de la ciudad. Cara me quiere ver, nadie me quiere ayudar. Hambre, tengo frío y no sé qué hacer. Gobierno maldito me la va a deber. Porque yo soy indio, no debo de saberlo. Pasa ya mi tierra, no debe de suceder. Milicia del masacre, es injusto que no ven. A mi pobre gente que no se lo merece.
Whoa, keep some of that energy in, just
I know.
save it for the show.
I have to be professional.
Can you bring it back?
Hello and welcome to the It's Happening Show, community grassroots media for the people by the people. I'm Jose Gloria.
I'm Dylan Thompson. We are your hosts tonight.
We are your hosts, indeed.
Indeedly do. That's us. Yeah.
That's us. It's happening.
To the fullest.
It's the movement of the heart and of the mind. It's the energy of the universe that creates waves inside us and all around us, which allows us to activate, motivate, then elevate vibrationally and intellectually towards love, truth, justice, and wisdom. It's happening every which way.
Oh, yeah. It's Happening is a culture of empowerment. It's people having the right to exist and participate as equals. It's a dream of what the world could be. But the future we want is only possible if we make it happen. So stand up, get informed, and fight back.
Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, pew, pew. Yeah, that's a new. We're gonna go for lasers at that after a fight back.
Achoo, 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 achoo. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're here with us, so we thank you because of you. It's happening.
It's happening. Oh yeah, we're back. Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Whether you like it or not.
Wearing gray. What's going on?
I know. I wanted to get a little professional action going here.
Oh man.
I always wear t-shirts, but you know what? I've been wearing these kinds of shirts because I feel like it's more.
You can get aired out.
Get air up and it's been hot.
Yeah, truthfully, I put on this shirt just for appearances because I'm tired about the comments about my body that are appearing on Facebook. It makes me very uncomfortable.
I'm not wearing any pants, but
yeah, that's how I keep the temperature regulated. Yeah, I keep the heat blowing down. So
I saw my buddy. He's like a teacher, and he's wearing like a nice like shirt and tie up top, and then like board shorts and sandals.
Oh yeah, that's the way to
big
go.
ups to all the teachers that going back to school or have been for a couple weeks now, but the colleges, I believe a lot of them started this week. So shout out to all the professors out there.
Big time.
Dr. Jose Moreno, McAllis, and
yes, sir.
All of those are cool friends of the show. Yeah. So, but we're gonna have a good show today. Later on, we're gonna have Councilwoman Denise Barnes from District 1. We'll talk to her about all sorts
District 1
Anaheim related. But first, let's talk about quick stories.
Quick stories. Wait, is that a laser sound?
No,
I thought it was more like a quick bullet sound, like zipping sound. Okay.
So today is August 24th, 8/24 is Kobe Bryant Day, officially, unofficially.
In the people's hearts.
In the people's hearts, right? Because of his number 8 and number 24 that he had later on in his life. But yeah, and on that, there was a mural that recently was put up in Santa Ana. I saw some pictures of it on Standard and Warner, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's this young artist that created it. A picture of a mural of Kobe and of his daughter who died with him on that horrible crash, Gianni. So yeah, so shout out to his family and all the Laker fans out there who are celebrating also a Laker win today. So that I'm really happy that sports is back, because now I don't have to just watch politics all day. I can also watch
yeah, you can get
politics of basketball.
Yeah, drama from another source.
Yeah. Give me that drama. But yeah, so of course, as we mentioned before the show started, Dylan, the Republican National Convention has started.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Woo,
Are you watching it? Are you excited?
Oh, I know.
The energy level is going to be so big, so high.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really going to be a brainstorm for a lot of the great policy ideas. Oh wait, I guess they just announced there will be no platform for the GOP convention except for support for Trump's second term.
That's
ouch. Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't know how closely the Democratic Party follows theirs, but I mean, come on. Can you at least have a list of ideas you want to go for, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
No. We don't need a platform. The platform is me.
Oh yeah, and it was almost like maybe that was the genius idea, that like all the ideas are like, there might have been bad ideas, so actually no ideas is better than bad ideas.
I have a very large brain, so what more do you need? I'm
That's true. He is a very stable genius.
very stable.
Of course.
Speaking of stable genius,
Yeah.
you know, and tied to the Trump campaign, Kellyanne Conway has decided to leave the White House.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, Kellyanne Conway. He will not be missed, but you know, maybe by some. I know, I know, like you know, the MSNBCs and all, you know, the mainstream medias love to have her on and you know, have a bunch of
Fight with
gossip
her.
questions with her and like, yeah, just argue with her and stuff. You know, she argues with the best of them. Like she knows how to pivot like no one's business,
Oh yeah.
or her, you know, like someone's business, the business of anybody that is trying to like excuse, you know, anything that, you know, that Trump does these days. So yeah, but it's so much stuff, but I won't get too much into it. But her husband, George Conway, is also stepping away from the Lincoln Project. Lincoln Project being, you know, the group of Republicans that are endorsing Biden and you know, going against Trump, you know, in acts and so much, and you know,
Maybe that was part of their arrangement.
He's like, all right, you leave the White House,
Yeah.
I leave the Lincoln Project.
Yeah, I
And we
still
tried-
love you.
Yeah,
We have
yeah.
to do this for each other. Yeah.
No, I think what it came down to is like it's I mean, and their press release talked a little bit about it. It's like, you know, we need to be there for our children and stuff, which you know I'm sure that they do. But also their daughter, 15-year-old daughter, is seeking emancipation, and so in the you know series of tweets, she kind of was just like, I hate that my mother is speaking at the you know RNC. This is like the worst thing ever,
That's
and I'm so embarrassed. You know, something to that to the
a very opinionated family. Divine.
yeah,
family.
and she's like, but yeah, she's also like, I'm not, you know, leaving. I'm not seeking emancipation because, you know, she worked because of her job, because of a traumatic childhood. And I said, join the club, sister.
Okay.
Yeah. Who hasn't had a traumatic childhood is what I'm saying. But
Things,
but no, I mean, you know, and who hasn't wanted to run away from home and grab their favorite teddy bear and you know a little backpack? Like, I'm running away.
Yeah, I can't say I didn't have my little red suitcase filled. I'm like, my teddy bear is going in there. Yeah, take what I needed.
But yeah. So more to come on that. I'm
more
sure.
more drama to come.
Yeah, but let's go ahead and
Again,
hop up to the COVID update. But
COVID update. Oh yeah, some good news, maybe ambiguous news, but apparently Orange County has been removed from the state watch list for COVID. That's good, right? Maybe we'll see, right? I mean, there are questions about the data. I mean, I guess we qualified for what some people are saying loose criteria to get off the list. But I think maybe they made the criteria loose just to entice counties to actually comply, especially Orange County that was showing some resistance, right, to doing anything about it. But I mean, look, if things open up more, I mean, we'll just see the next you know, crest of this feedback loop, and we'll have to close down again. But yeah, and one other little fun story the Voice of OC did is that they basically remember when the Board of Education, the county Board of Education, made a decision like advising school districts to just like reconvene as normal, you know, pushing for this kind of like I mean, definitely the Republican Party has been pushing for this. It's become very politicized somehow, but they're going for a reopening as normal. The Voice of OC did an analysis of comments sent in by the public, and they found that around 75% of the public that commented oppose the county's view on that. So it's a cool data-driven story by the Voice of OC, kind of showing, yeah, that's not a policy that reflects the intentions or values of its constituency. So stop it already. Can we just do it online? Can we just do school online? What are they making these teachers do? It's crazy, quite frankly.
I know. I mean, just it's not safe. Notre Dame had us, try to open up, and they got all these cases. There's just been so many bad examples of showing how, kids are not, youth, teenagers, college students. They think they're never gonna die. I mean, I knew that's how I felt when I was young. It's like, I'm just gonna jump, like scale trees and jump off roofs, and like I did so much crazy
YOLO. You were YOLOing before it was even
I was
cool.
OG YOLO. But, so I mean, I think it's not safe to give this false sense of security, and also I think that that the metrics are off. There's people are not being tested in the numbers that we would like for them to. But a lot of efforts is being done, to try to make that more available. So that's going to be a good thing, hopefully. But I mean, one thing on that COVID that came out with a Voice of OC article is that Anaheim, Santana is spending 4 times more money, like 5 million versus 1 million. To Anaheim, 5 million, Santana to Anaheim's 1 million for COVID testing. So if it's kind of like maybe the, mayor who loves Trump and has taken pictures with him agrees with him. It's like, if we test more, then we're going to have more cases. So we should slow them down, I was like, so I don't believe the metrics. And I think that, there's a lot of underreporting, but I mean, it is a sign that we're going in the right direction, but we're not nowhere near, in the clear for us to then start opening up everything back up again. So we're going to have a resurgence like we did the last time we tried, right?
Very well could. Yes. And just like there some funny things about the metrics is that, like, if they report fewer new cases, I think that was one of them. But there's a bunch of other situations where the actual situation on the ground could be bad, but you might not report new cases. Like in the case you said, like you're saying Anaheim might be under testing. So if that's the case, they get fewer tests, but the reality on the ground is people have it. And then there's a weird like edge case where everyone has it. So there's no new cases, it's not a good, so anyway, it's weird how do you measure progress on this? It's hard. And how do you entice counties to comply? It's a weird new territory for everybody. So Totes my goats.
That's what the kids say these days.
Ah, yes. Do they say that on the TikToks?
On the tickety-tockety?
The tickety-tocketies? Do they know that like TikTok is that's like what a clock sound is, right? Do we have clocks like that anymore?
No. No, yeah, they go click, click. No. Yeah.
Do they?
I don't know. Yeah, do they still have the little things? I mean, only like fancy watches have it, right? But now with the Google watches, and it's just all fancy and electronic.
Fancy pants. Okay,
Yeah.
no. Oh, this is a good segment for you to be your like cranky grandpa Jose.
Okay.
Oh, damn kids.
Ah,
Yeah.
and they're tickety-tockety and they're boomerangs and
And they're WAP.
no,
Like, okay, I don't know.
let's not go there.
Let's not even go there, guys. But that's not natural, according to Ben Shapiro.
Not natural at all. So next,
But we do have reason to be upset, though, right?
Yeah.
With this next one.
The next story is that Santa Ana moves forward with reduced affordable housing requirements. So this was we'll talk more about it in the future because it was the first vote. They're still going to need to vote for it again. But long story short, with the policy was based on the article Voice of OC. Council members Vince Sarmiento Nelly opposed the 7-member panel revised certain parts of the cities with the council members opposing. The 7-member panel revised certain parts of the city's housing opportunity ordinance, which for the most part requires for-profit developers to include low-income units in their plans or pay to an in-lieu fee. But now the in-lieu fee is on its way down from 15 per square feet, and it's now going to go down to 5 based on if it gets voted again. But it's more than likely going to. But yeah, it was a long meeting. I watched the whole thing basically. But man, I mean, they're really trying to push everything that they can in the last few months that they have on the council, and this is one of them. The housing opportunity ordinance is one of the very important piece of local legislation policy, of inclusionary housing that a lot of cities do not have. So this is I feel a step in the wrong direction, but developers are going to develop and are going to spend lots of money to try to get their way, and so they never so this is, but supposedly it's only going to be done for a while, but then they could bring it back, but that's going to depend a lot on what happens in the election for sure.
Yeah. I wasn't quite sure what the specific reason for doing it right now. Are they trying to spur development or something? I'm confused.
Julio's argument was that nothing is getting built right now because of COVID, and I mean I see buildings.
I've seen them. Oh, they've been doing plenty of work. There's plenty of work going down right now. There's this
big old thing happening on what is it, First Street and Tustin.
Oh yeah.
Right next to the freeway. Huge development.
Huge. I wish I went to that restaurant though before it shut down.
Oh no, yeah, look cool. And then Phil Becerra said, it's like, well, we're actually leading the way in affordable housing, locally. So we can't be the affordable housing hub for all of the county. Other places, cities need to step up. Like,
there's something to that, but it's not like give up, because it's kind of like, doesn't everybody have to implement this? So I mean, it would be helpful if all the cities had it. So it's not like, well, we did it for 5 years, now we're not going to do it anymore. I mean, yeah, there's maybe it's not a perfect policy, but dude, come on, our whole housing system is totally imperfect. Like, I mean, there's a lot of problems, and it's not just the city's issue. There aren't good incentives to make affordable housing in the housing system, and then everyone's like, oh, it's because we don't kowtow or bootlick enough to the developers, so we should do that more, right? Yeah, it always seems like the answer, right? Take the money for your campaign and just do whatever they want. But I mean, the really hard decisions are gonna have to come. Like, how do we make how do we take some of that back? How do we make housing humane? How do we make it serve human need, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's going to be an ongoing question as population, keeps rising, and people are going to continue to fight. It's like, we need to build more housing. People don't want housing, or people don't want to get shoved down their throat, and pushed through. So there has to be a balance, but I mean, when you try to do that, like in the case of 2525, then you will see the wrath of the residents and homeowners, and they will vote you out, and they will not forget in November. So hopefully that is the case. More to come on this.
More to come
for sure, and I can't wait for Connected Councils. Candidates forum when I'm sure that they should be asked about these things.
Big time.
Bigly. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our headlines.
Headlines.
Formerly known as top stories.
Formerly and maybe subsequently known as top stories. Yeah, so Steve Bannon got arrested. Probably heard about that.
Woo!
Charged with fraud. So yeah, of course, I mean, everyone's saying it, but no shocker there. considering the clip that Trump adjacent figures have been being arrested. But yeah, so what happened here? Well, don't you remember that this like GoFundMe that was like We the People Build the Wall? They're trying to raise money to build the wall, right? And the government was like, dude, we can't take this. Get this out of here. And so basically, GoFundMe was like, yeah, I think we need to return these funds to the donors. Well, these guys, Steve Bannon and maybe 3 other guys that were doing this whole thing, they were like, oh, wait, no, we'll start a nonprofit with the same mission that all the money's going to be spent building this damn wall, and convince a lot of those people to, instead of getting their money returned from the Kickstarter, they would go to this nonprofit. A lot of money did. And they ended up kind of using like a shell company that one of the guys controlled to make fake invoices to bill the company so they could pay for their own personal expenses. And for each of them, and probably in the scale of hundreds of thousands of dollars were spent for their own personal expenses. So yeah, I mean, it's just another scam, the king of scam artists and his cohort of like-minded individuals. But yeah, a lot of people will just say, oh, no, this is just part of QAnon's plan because the U.S. Postal Service police arrested him, and they're part of it too. I don't know if you saw that angle on this story.
No,
but they're apparently the Postal Service does have a police force or an enforcement branch that has always existed since their inception of the thing to investigate mail fraud, stuff like that. So they were involved in the arrest, and it's just because of the timeliness of all this drama with the U.S. Postal Service that became like a hot kind of like story of interest. I'm sure it'll be wrapped up into someone's conspiracy theory, but it's completely incidental. But anyway, so good times.
Yeah,
add him to the list.
I mean, exactly. Add him to the list of all the former Trump, staffers that have been charged, convicted, and either serve time or get pardoned. And the most recent case was that guy, the character from the Penguin, from Batman, Penguin from Batman. Anyways, yeah, all of them.
Chat. Let us know, chat. Who do you think?
Chat. Who recently got a pardon? Yeah, but we'll see what happens. He probably will get pardoned too.
Oh, Joe Arpaio?
No.
Oh, different.
He was the first one, but
Roger Stone.
Roger Stone.
Yes.
Yeah, him.
Pardons for everyone.
Thanks, chat.
Oh yeah. Enjoy that the jail cell.
Okay. Yeah. So and our last story before I introduce our Councilwoman Denise Barnes is that actually this is a Orange County Register. This is a great article. Go register. Well, go register editorial board. So many people know the saying attributed to General Motors CEO and then Defense Secretary Charles Wilson in the 50s. What's good for GM is good for America. It's a misquote, though. Wilson actually said something different. What is good for our country was good for General Motors and vice versa. As Forbes column noted, Wilson believed that businesses did best when the country was doing well. We've thought about those words after the Anaheim City Council last week approved $500,000 in aid to the Chamber of Commerce, which champions the local business community. The money is part of the $4 million economic package that includes rental assistance and funding for public health programs. Anaheim received $33 million from the federal government to pay for COVID-19. Given the city's ongoing financial problems, Anaheim could better use the money to fix its budget, improve its infrastructure, and bolster fundamental municipal services. Many of Anaheim's restaurants and tourist-related businesses are struggling because of economic shutdowns, but it's hard to see how funding a trade group is anything more than a corporate welfare. As council members noted during the recent debate, Anaheim has yet to detail how the chamber spent last year's funding. So another member questioned providing public funds to a group that has invested in local political campaigns through its Political Action Committee, or PAC. There's nothing improper here, but the chamber ought to do its useful work without public dollars. This type of funding earmarks are a recurring theme for Anaheim City Council. In April, this editorial board chided Mayor Harry Sidhu's $15 million emergency aid package that diverted $6.5 million from the Convention Center Reserve Fund to visit Anaheim, a group that supports resort area advertising campaigns. We call it a place of misplaced priorities now, and we see that nothing has really changed. So city council members need to follow what the former GM leader actually said. The best thing that they can do for the local business community is get city running as efficiently as possible. What's good for the city is what's best for Anaheim's business community. And with that, I want to bring on Denise Barnes, or you're here with us now. Welcome, Councilwoman Denise Barnes from District 1.
Thank
Welcome.
you, Jose.
Yeah, West Anaheim in the house.
Oh,
Yeah. So yeah, I grew up in, I moved around a lot in Anaheim, but where my family ultimately landed and get, in a mobile home complex and are staying there and are still there, is in West Anaheim, right there, like on Grand and Lincoln. Yeah, a mobile home complex back there. So yeah, so West Anaheim is oftentimes shunned, or at least that was the case before district elections came about and gave way to, the campaign that got you elected, Councilwoman Denise Barnes. So I want to give you the floor first to introduce yourself to the audience here watching us, and maybe let us know why you decided to run the first time around.
Well, thank you, first of all, for letting me be on your show. I'm just a new senior citizen, and I was very interested in the elections. When I found out we finally had districts, I was not aware that without a voice in your own neighborhood, it would be pretty tough to get something done at City Hall. However, I had been working with City Hall through getting permit parking, or at least trying to get graffiti cleaned up, and at least some attention to the parks that had just been dirt and just pretty much have been taken over by the homeless. So in my estimation, I thought, you know what, I could give it a try. There was several other gentlemen that had stepped up to also run, but I had already been involved in the city with West Anaheim Neighborhood Development, which is very good hands-on with the neighborhood to come to meetings and actually have your voice heard and championed through a lady, Esther Wallace. And that really helped my husband and I realize that we wanted to make something of our community. And we actually bought in on a first-time buyers program. So that meant a commitment of 15 years. But it also helped us realize that being right next to the school and the library and being in Boy Scouts and PTA and church outreach, that I was very much connected with my community on the West Side. Just was involved in accounting. I had worked for a major, it was more or less a computer manufacturer back in the 80s, and had really enjoyed being in accounting. So I enjoyed, the lifestyle that it was without children. And then after having kids, my son Cody, it was wonderful then to start realizing I needed to be near a school. I needed to be having at least some proper place to set roots down than to be, I had been living in over by Anaheim Boulevard in the mobile home park there. And so my husband and I moved to the West Side. We pretty much knew we'd be here for a while. Both our parents were alive and we wanted to stay near them. So when I got into the race, I was very quickly told about all the various problems here in Anaheim, which to me, I just was raising my family. I had no idea, but the hotel subsidy had come to my attention with Disney, and also I had heard that there was other major, I guess you would call them special interest groups that were pretty much taking the helm at City Hall. And I was just like, are you kidding me? I pay my taxes. All I want is just to raise my kid in a good school and be able to be safe and know that we'd be here for a long time. So with that, I jumped in the race, and Mayor Tate was very wonderful to endorse me, and had seen that he could get behind someone that had really already championed for this side of town and this neighborhood. So that's pretty much how I got involved, and thank God I really went all out and got very good results by winning. And finding out a month later that I had won, only because we had the mail-in ballots and it just took so long to count them. So it was a very unclimactic win, but it was still a win nonetheless. So thank you for asking.
All right. Yeah.
That's great.
How
Yeah,
many?
what was it? What was that month like for you?
Votes. Yeah, 293 votes.
Oh, wow.
223 votes.
Not as bad as Jose Moreno, because he was tied at one point with Jordan Brandman, and then we had to wait another week before we really got another result. So yeah.
Well, his was what like 50, like something like really like squeaked by. Every vote counts.
Right, sure does.
Yeah, well, that's a compelling story, and it just kind of shows just somebody that perhaps I don't know if you as a little girl said like one day I'm gonna be like a politician, but more like you were just a community member, and that was seeing what things were happening and wanted to do something about it, and like figuring out it's like, well, I've been doing as much as I can in this sphere, but then there's this other sphere, and kind of jumping into the race, and I mean like there was the of course the tourism industry and Disney back candidate and Steve Lodge that they really tried to do everything. They truly spent a lot of money to try to get him in, but similarly with the Jose Moreno campaign versus the last one, they just think that they can spend their way to victory, but you and Jose proved them wrong, right?
Actually, it was more of a David and Goliath race because they had a lot more money than I did. And the thing is, the relationship in the community is what really counts. Really getting to know your neighbors and see what the needs are, and then getting right out there and getting it done, really getting it done. So yeah, thank you.
Yay. Yeah. And like all of a sudden he became Chavez, and I was just like, this guy. All of a sudden, it's cool to be Hispanic, or Latina, as they would call it. But Denise, you're Latina yourself. Is that?
Yes, my maiden name is Avila.
Mm-hmm.
I was born to Mr. Abelardo Lalo Avila and my mother Marie Garza. They grew up in LA. My father went to Jordan High, and my mom went to Connolly, which was an all-girls school. My dad was a World War II vet. Right out of high school at 18, was put on a big plane and sent off to Germany, and served his time there. So he was part of the big band era with a lot of other people that came home and had the vet bill to get him into homes and settle in La Mirada. That's where I grew up.
That's wonderful. Yeah. And so this time around you're running for re-election, right? So, like no pressure, right? Like can magic strike, like lightning strike twice. But I think, here's one interesting thing. When you ran the first time, even though it's a nonpartisan, and really, as I've constantly said on this show, because, Tom Tate has always, just really been a class act in so many ways, and, being a Republican, and I really always admired and respected him, even as a Republican or a conservative individual, because he always, came from the heart when it came to, listening to the needs of the community. So, it just, he really sets the standard for like what it is when I say like, some of the people that I love the most have been Republican, and some of the ones that I've hated the most have been Democrats, which we won't name in this particular case. But I just saying that, like you recently became a Democrat after, being a Republican. And so welcome to the dysfunctional family. It's fun.
Another one. Yeah.
Yeah. But what made you decide, I guess,
To change?
Yeah.
It was a very, very hard decision to make. Very hard. I believe in being a good steward of what everything you have and own, and especially being grown up very strict. The law is the law. You stand by the law. You want to make sure that those around you, though, are taken care of. And I noticed that through the first couple of years, just even before I wanted the position, is that I realized that there's a lot of need here on the west side. There is a lot of need, a lot of apartments, a lot of people with really low wages, a lot of people that put in lots of hours, and people that have 2 or 3 families living in the same house or roof. And that just struck me. I myself am a property owner, but I still want to make sure that I am giving every tenant the best quality housing that I can afford to give them. And I really was not going to lay down not being able to give that care to them due to whether I wanted to raise the rent or I wanted this development over something else that would have helped the community. And I found myself paralleling with Dr. Moreno. And I thought, I care about people. It wasn't about the big developments. It wasn't about the hotels. It was more about that my side of the city was being neglected. And the only way to do that was to maybe show more of a bigger heart. I have a big heart, but a bigger heart at City Hall. And the more I realized that that's the Democratic message and a lot of people that I aligned with. And that gave me solace, and that made me realize, why would I champion to be in one camp when in fact I saw just the opposite coming from the actual decisions that were coming out of the White House that was not for the people. It was not for their children. It was not for the renter. It wasn't. And so my heart was, okay, you know what? You need to make a change. And I do feel welcomed. I really do. I was the honorable Dem at most of the meetings I attended just to see what was the feel, what was I getting into. And I realized that my heart was there in the same place. So I feel very comfortable because that's where I'm at here in West Anaheim. We don't have the privileges that other parts of the city have.
Yeah. I know we always, because at some point you were always voting with Dr. Jose, or most of the time voting with Dr. Jose Moreno, our councilman. And, and even more so than his quote unquote Democratic colleague on there on the dais. And so it's been interesting to, and so it followed. I saw that. And so, yeah, definitely welcome. But I mean, you remember what it was like when Tom was on there, and granted the makeup was different than what it is now, but I mean, to me, it feels really like light and day, or day and night, or, the light side of the force and the dark side of the force. I can't. So you see it and you experience it on much more personal levels. Like, how difficult has it been working with him and his council majority?
Actually, that's a good question. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that, but when I saw the dynamics of having Councilwoman Chris Murray and Councilwoman Lucille, and you could see in their face and their eyes, what, we're going down. This is it. This is the last hurrah. We're going down. They have the majority. We don't. And to see the clawing, trying to get back up again to be the majority was really a sinking feeling and almost a sickening feeling. When we had changes in this last, now Jose and I are the minority, believe me, sometimes it feels that way, but actually I know already that when things get changed through other avenues, you can still accomplish much. Also, you can set your sights on subject matters that don't require the vote, that are the majority, and then you realize that, okay, I can move it down the field. Isn't that all it really takes? Every first down gets me to another another first down, and on till you get to the goal line. And that's the way you have to press it. You can't just be going for the Hail Mary and, lose it all in one shot. Every little bit is a little more turf, and you just have to say to yourself, is this the is this the hill I'm gonna die on? No. No. You have 4 years, and you have I had 2 very good years to see and hear what the other council members were strategizing on, but yet still accomplishing what they wanted to do. So it's learning. It's a big learning curve, but being patient, being kind, being understanding. Good things come to those who wait, but you can't just go in there like a bull in a china shop. It doesn't serve you. So
yeah, definitely being on the minority, you probably need to be a little diplomatic there. But I do wonder, haven't there been some rules changes on the council that makes it perhaps harder for the minority to get even things on the agenda? I wonder, how do you make those first downs given obstacles like that?
Well, it was quite, it just threw a wrench into the whole system. To me, to have districts meant that I would have opportunity to bring up these problems and get them solved by votes of other people that promised and took their oath to help Anaheim, not just their own district. And so when the mayor had changed that process to now having a second and a third, wow, that's a whole game. It's a whole other universe. And so with that, again, thank God for the city manager who will take up and champion for your problem or your robust policy you want to see put forward. And that helps change the game in a lot of ways. It doesn't feel good. It quite frankly felt embarrassing. But then even more, it just got to be where this is just nasty, because I felt that people would just sit there with their arms crossed like, well, I don't see a second, I don't see a third. And you're like, really, people? Is this just going to get about the pettiness of what the last administration did to you? Because I hear that a lot with Councilwoman Kring. And I just don't want to waste time. I don't. That's the game they want to play, but it doesn't serve our city. And it's a real shame to have that type of attitude as a leader in your own city that wouldn't want to partner with you to get things done.
Yeah,
thank you for asking that.
Yeah, it's a shame. And maybe I was hoping maybe you could go into more detail, like say maybe you can't put some things on the agenda and it's challenging, but you're saying maybe there are things you can do in your position, maybe outside of those votes that as a council member. Maybe can you elaborate on an example of one of these things?
Well, mine has been with pro code enforcement. Mm-hmm. A city this size, we have to go into an app, we have to quote unquote tell on our neighbors, tell on our businesses that aren't being good neighbors. Mm-hmm. My gosh, in any other city, you don't have that problem. But ours, we're not pro. We have to complain. We have to stay on this time and time again. And we had a big incident right by Union Pacific at Magnolia near La Palma and also Brookhurst and La Palma, where, oh my gosh, there was just trash and just people sleeping right next to the railroads. And it was not only a hazard, it was a safety issue. And it was also just wrong because the Union Pacific would not send anybody out. So between code enforcement and myself and the representative at Union Pacific, we rallied to get a force of not only just the police, but the railroad, the cleanup, a city net to get all the transients out of there. And then they had to do a big cleanup. Once it was cleaned up, somebody came back and set the trash dumpster on fire. It just was horrible. But I was able to get Union Pacific to actually work with us, and they put up a 600-foot gated fence across the whole area, to which, thank God, they had to clean it up again because someone had put a hole in it, but it's done. That was something I didn't have to go through, getting this votes on and whatever. But
Right,
it does take a lot of persistence, a lot of relationships, a lot of reassuring my own residents and neighborhoods that we're going to get this done. Please be patient. And that was a big success. See, it's finished, it's done. So those are things that, to me, that's a win. That's a big win. So thank you for asking.
right. Yeah, I mean, I just say, I think you're muted, buddy.
Yeah. So right, there's a lot of things that communities can and should do as far as like, civic engagement, organizing and themselves, and just whether it's the public safety, like safety, neighborhood safety groups and things of that nature, and just working with code enforcement, but and I think in the absence of real like democracy, or like in the council, like we just have to find like all sorts of creative ways to to let the residents' voices be heard. And speaking of letting the residents' voices be heard, they have not been heard during this COVID-19 pandemic in Anaheim. Because there has not been public comment like in other cities, in Santa Ana being one of them, where people can join a Zoom call and have their 2 minutes to address their council and their representatives that on the issues that matter the most to them. But Mayor Sidhu and has not moved an inch on that. So people can email their responses, but it's not the same. And it's really unfortunate that, and like, and also, yeah, his overall attitude towards you, which some people say, is sexist and racist, just really dismissive of you, specifically, Councilwoman. So sometimes I just don't know how you can, like deal with that. Like I would throw my pencil at him at the very least, like shoot him like an evil, But I'm being facetious, but it's I'm sure it's difficult, for you, but also it's difficult right now for the public to be ignored with the lack of public comment.
I agree. It's the way things are right now, but it won't be that way all the time. It will change. And maybe this is just a season that we're going through right now where vindictiveness and pettiness rules. But I do feel that public comment is so important. It puts emotion, it puts a lot of heart to what people are trying to get across to us. Reading it on paper doesn't know justice at all. You don't see the person there agonizing. You don't see what community they come from. And it's a lot to see somebody dressed up, come down, wait your turn, wait in line, and then go home at God knows what hour. And it's very healthy for us to see that. When you're just reading a piece of paper of public comments, it doesn't do you any justice at all unless you know that person. And it is a shame because it gets to the heart of the matter, which is that people want to be heard. I can read through 300 emails on cannabis. I could read through 200 mails on Serrano. But until you see those people's faces and you hear that quiver in their voice or their face that says, my community will be destroyed if you don't hear me what I'm saying. And you can just skip to the next email and the next email, and next thing you're like, oh, well, they all say the same thing. No, they don't. And then who's going to reply? Are you kidding me? You have to be involved. You have to be in it all the way. And to look at those and read them and then just go, oh, I know who that person is. Or, oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh, again? I'm reading, I'm having the same thing voiced again and again. And so there's this theme that you get. Yeah, I'm not going to sit through 300 people on the dais. But you know what? If it means that much to me, that's just how powerful that we need to listen to this problem and solve it, or at least turn the course on it and discuss it. If we're not even discussing it, again, where's the transparency? Where is it really hearing public comments? I would be furious if I was on the other side, because that is not democracy at all, at all.
Right.
And to do it just because you want to have a shorter meeting or something like that, which I'm sure is not the case, but it does weigh on you. When the night goes to 1 or 2 in the morning, it's very telling then to see how many people were affected by this one agenda item.
Yeah, so you're saying we shouldn't expect it to stay like this for long. Do you know if if there are any plans in motion to implement some kind of Zoom participation? Or, I mean, even I was thinking of it like, are you going to get advice from the city attorney saying like, I mean, there's only a certain amount of time you can put this off until it's going to be a breach of people's freedom of speech. I imagine it could be a legal issue. So I don't know if you have a take on that, Denise.
I don't, only because that's the majority, and whatever the majority wants, they get. So I just go through my emails and I reply as best I can. I try to resolve things as best I can, but I always reply. I will say, thank you for your email, and if I can put it on a list till the problem is resolved, then I can email back to that whole group, you know, like what was resolved at Serrano or what was resolved in such and such a development. And then if it's something that I might have overlooked, you know, I'm only human, but I think the cannabis thing went well. I think other things go well when people really speak up. That's the best way to do it. We're not mind readers, but we can be told to, you know, have the public comment come in before the 5 o'clock hour so we can review it. And if it's urgent, I'm sure it'll get to our desk before the meeting. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so I know maybe there's been a few changes in your campaign. You're in a different party now. COVID has happened. I know this is probably, what, the second district election in Anaheim? So I don't see, like, can you tell me, like, what is it like running your campaign now, given all this stuff, especially COVID?
Well, first of all, I don't have any endorsement of the mayor. And second of all, I don't have any very strong campaign manager because some health problems came up. My husband and I did pretty much everything in my first campaign, at least collaborating with mailers and message and photos and things like that. It's really the boots on the ground people that actually go out and put the mailers on. But we had a lot of really good friends and people do that for us, including myself that had put in many hours, many shoes. I think I lost 10 pounds back then. And you realize it's good to get to see the faces of people out there. There's nothing wrong with knocking on doors and having people go, "Who are you?
Yeah.
You mean running for office? I never seen anybody come out and do this." And I said, "Yeah, it's really me. And if I missed you, I'll put on there, 'Sorry I missed you, Denise.'" And it just gave me a real sense of being grateful that these were the people I was going to represent. And I do want to get out there, and I do want them to have my mailer, and I do want to see how the neighborhoods are doing now in COVID.
Right.
It's important. I am in this neighborhood. If I care about this neighborhood, then I know other people care about this neighborhood. And if they don't, it's very telling then that either they're renters or they're just other people having a problem. Do you have a problem? Do you need help? How can I help you? We have lots of programs at the city. So it's different in that regard that we won't be doing as much door knocking, but I'm just as excited as before. It's just a wonderful community to advocate for, and especially because we have some new projects coming in to West Anaheim. So I'm really grateful for that. It's like when we did the Meet on Beach. That was fun. That was really fun, and it really revitalized a lot of the neighborhoods and the community. And it just shows that, you know, we need some healing done. We've been overlooked for a long time. And it just gives power to having us have our little star, you know, polished a little bit to shine also with the rest of the city. So
Right. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, bringing up that, you know, you feel like that maybe the West End's ignored, and in this time of COVID, I mean, I think probably you probably have a higher per household size on the west side, similar to what we have in Santa Ana. You have a higher household size on average. And so COVID's affecting like these households a lot more than some families, right? Because there's a lot of essential workers, a lot of like people per household. So what do you think about the amount of money that Anaheim has allocated to the COVID testing compared to, say, some other cities? I don't know, maybe do you have the figures on that?
I don't even have to compare. Face it, we already know that the allocation of money that went to marketing the resorts was a mistake. Complete mistake.
Oh, yeah.
6.5 million. When I am at these food drives every Saturday, every Wednesday night, and I see over 300 cars show up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, the money is being misspent. This will go on. And we need to have that money at our food banks. Our food banks ran out of food last week to where we would have had to jeopardize food that would have come out of Second Harvest coming to the west end of Anaheim. No. We will do whatever it takes to get food on the table and a roof over your head, and the money should go where it belongs. COVID-19 problems, not advertising. This is one of the other reasons why I'm running. We have to serve the people. When you sign up for this job that you yourself are putting your money into to get your job, who does that, right? And then to neglect the residents that are voting you in, not hoteliers, not big business, not anybody else. These are the voices of people that said, Denise, am I going to be fed? Am I going to have a roof over my head? That's the message I hear. And when we set aside even the littlest bit for special interest, I do not want to be on the other end of that side at all. With the judgment of residents, when they see that, they are so infuriated. And they will rebel. Just give them time. Look at what the seniors did at Rancho La Paz.
Yeah.
Don't mess with the voters. You don't mess with people that are looking to leaders to be strong and prepared and put away for a rainy day, and then are there to bail you out.
Absolutely. And I actually want to talk about that more because, I mean, you mentioned a lot of things, but I mean, yeah, West Anaheim is getting some love. Big thanks to the advocacy on your part. The Beach Boulevard. I mean, it's, I grew up there. We know what to find over there. Or like driving by, you'd be like, what is going on here? Like the women of the night, and things, so it's like, that's just, it's like, that's what it was known for a long time, dilapidated hotels and, prostitution and so on. But now things are kind of, getting much better and fixed, and it's on the right track. But around the issue of housing, and the Rancho La Paz community, as you mentioned, I mean, this was something that you really took to heart, and I mean, I did too. I went to those meetings and listened to those seniors, and when I heard them saying, like, I'm gonna have to choose whether or not I can buy medicine, or buy food, because I can't afford this rent. I'm on fixed income. This is not what I bargained for. Because of a greedy landlord that wants to like up their prices, because that's the name of the game for these people nowadays. And I just like, how could you not be so heartless? But it wasn't your district, and this is maybe the argument against those people that say like, well, district people don't care about other people in other parts of the district, they only care about theirs. Like, no, and you showed that at that moment. You cared more about them than their own damn council member. Excuse my language, but it's a fact, And so, can you tell us a little bit about, that situation? And we've talked about it with Lupe Ramirez, who was on the show previously and was a big champion in that.
Oh, that woman is incredible. just incredible. She's up there on my top 10 list with Sharon Quirk Silva also. Rancho La Paz, that whole problem being brought to the attention on the dais was so heartbreaking. It wasn't just one or two, it was 10 or 20 people begging, please, you've got to help us. We will not survive by a certain date if we do not get this overturned or at least addressed. In other words, let's sit down, negotiate. And Mr. Saunders was not in any shape or form prepared to even budge. To me, it was a matter of, okay, so someone's going to take care of that part on the legal side. But what can I do to make you as residents, senior residents here, whole? And I remember that night, Jose and I just walked into the senior community center, and there were so many. There was like 300 people because it's not only in Anaheim, it's also in Fullerton. And they wanted to know what Anaheim was going to do, what kind of solutions, what kind of policy, what kind of programs could we bring to them. And I can only remember saying, do not give up. You are a strong community. You've lived through worse things than this. But yes, this is your nest egg. Yes, this is your bread and butter. And like you just pointed out, am I going to buy medicine? Am I going to pay the rent? Am I going to eat chips, or what am I going to do? And I said, no, that's not going to happen. So thank God we were able to bring in some nonprofits that would bring food to them every week, including myself. I'd come down and make sure that, and ask. And Cheryl Moy, oh my God, her and Lupe were the first crusaders to help make these people realize that they were going to go on, that there was hope at the end of the road. That they did not need to panic and give up. But very telling was seeing over 40 some homes go up for sale all overnight. You knew something was desperately wrong there. And some of those people they couldn't take it anymore. They had already been at the Huntington Beach Mobile Home Center, where Mr. Saunders had done the same thing over there. How could this happen twice? So these people were desperate. They were really upset. And older people take things a lot harder because that's their nest egg. That's all they have. So I really love championing with them. And I still see them. I still have a relationship with them and food sources for them also. And they're just wonderful, wonderful people. I don't know if I ever told you, I think my father passed away last year, and he was a senior of 93 years. So just being able to know the needs, the medicine, the diets, the pets, all the things that make you feel, I'm retired. I got it good now. But then to have, the rug pulled out from under you is just devastating. So I was really glad that whatever I could do behind the scenes, again, outside of the dais, was a blessing. What goes on the dais, whether you wanted to discuss it or take an even discussion on it, was horrible to just table it. You think you know somebody, you don't know people. You really don't. You only see by what they say and what they do, and it's very telling. So, yeah, there's other ways to get around it and help people. So thank you for asking.
It's a proactive way to take that's a responsible way to use the office. I see it in a way like you're kind of continuing your just participation as a community member, as a member of that your neighborhood, but just with this title that can help you accomplish things. Even if your council won't let you do it in the dais. So kudos to you for you're continuing to organize, like, even on the grassroots. So yeah,
and I think it's great for the leaders to really show up. You can write policy and you can do whatever you want, and you cannot be out there. But when you're out there, then that means you're all in. That's what really counts, is that you're all in. And that's what I used to do before I was ever in this position. I would be more in the church outreach, the soup kitchens back in the 90s. And you really realize that this is not going away. It'll still be the same. So
right.
Thank you for asking.
Harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. Hey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had
Have to say it once.
I had this every show.
Once a
my-
show.
Well, I always say, to whom much is given, much is required.
Mm.
That's a
You
good
got
one
a
too.
lot, you know what? You should be putting out a lot because it'll just circle back to you. You know it does. And that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
True.
Running out of time, Denise, but I want to touch just briefly before we kind of get some information from you as far as where people can find you, but or find out about your campaign and how to volunteer, donate, etc. There's been several votes, right? I mean, the COVID-19, the lack of funding was just for testing, as I mentioned. The sweetheart deal, like, or this money that was given to the group.
Visit Anaheim.
Right? And just all of the funny stuff behind that, as far as like who runs it and why they needed that money. It was, I mean, I think there's been different articles that have been written about it. I think Gabriel San Roman recently wrote one as well that kind of just exposed like following the money. You're like, wow, this is bad, but it's legal, but it's bad type of thing. But and then the Angel Stadium deal, right? It's just I feel like just when you think they can't go any lower, they do another thing that just shows how much they are in the pockets of the special interests that are driving Anaheim, and we're on the back seat when they didn't have the power. But man, now that they have it, they are just I feel like Anaheim is being sold right from under us to to these people that donated these millions of dollars to these campaigns, and the residents are getting the short end of this, this deal with that, and in particular the Angel Stadium lease.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's not a lease; it's a.
It's a seal. Yeah. Of the land around it, and and so much that we the taxpayers should have gotten more money from that deal than what it ultimately came out to.
Well, and we should have probably gotten a vote on it.
And we should have attached Anaheim Angels to it. They're not Los Angeles.
We should ask the taxpayers if they really wanted to sell it. I mean, their property. We didn't ask them for a vote. That was sad. So yeah, a lot of things.
Yeah. So I mean, what do we expect? What's gonna happen? What are they gonna do to us in the next 2 months or 3 months?
Stay tuned, right?
Yeah, stay tuned.
I know.
You guys know. You'll have it here first, I'm sure.
No doubt. Well, I want to end with like a list of maybe the people that have endorsed your campaign or groups, Denise, that you feel proud of or you want to share, and also a website where people can find out more about all these things.
Oh, well, right off, I'll say it's denisebarnes2020.com. That's my website. And it'll have a lot of information there on how to volunteer, how to get lawn signs, how to help with the campaign, how to donate money. There's a lot of good things to be informed about, including my gallery of pictures that show how involved I was at different events, mostly nonprofits, which I really champion for and enjoyed being a part of and being endorsed by them also. I mean, it's not nonprofits endorsement, but it's the people that go there that are really engaged in giving, and then also having a heart for those different nonprofits. I have been endorsed by Lou Correa, Congressman Lou Correa, and Assemblywoman Sharon Quirk Silva, also Josh Newman and Doug Chafee. I have the Anaheim Democratic Club, woohoo, endorsement, and I'm, to me, it's just going to be the voters. It'll be the voters that'll be the tell.
Yes.
I've always wondered about the fire and the police and the this and the that, but I realize they don't live here, so they don't vote. to me, I'm doing a good job. My grades show because the voters want me back, you know, and I think I'm doing a great job. I have met all the players, mostly all the players. I have crossed over and matured in a lot of ways. Thank God, going through the fire of the homeless and having them right in my own backyard has taught me a lot. But then I've been through a lot in my life that helped me prepare for that homeless situation. Now, what I hope and really am inspired to do is to get us through this rent crisis. This is going to hit us like a tsunami. I don't know that anybody's even talking about it. But after September, if this moratorium doesn't go on, landlords are just going to be devastated without that money. And people will be living in their cars. And this will not be the next homeless. We have to work out and negotiate a definite solution. So that's got to come in the next 30 to 45 days, and it's got to be everybody all in.
Yeah.
And hopefully some hotels will step up and say, you know what, we're not coming back. So we'd rather have people living here and getting something from the county or some way be able to house people, because that would be the best for our mom and pop operation. I'm not asking for corporate, but you know, there's a lot of mom and pop places that would love to do that. Right. So, yeah, gotta keep fighting the good fight.
Yes, indeed.
That's the spirit. You're like, I gots to. Well, Councilwoman, it's been really great having you on. You know, we've had your colleague, Dr. Jose Moreno, on many a times. I think we're gonna have to get him on soon to get his breakdown of all things Anaheim. You know, that usually happens every Dylan, like every 3-6 months or so.
Yeah, it's a threat to my co-host position here.
Yeah.
You need a better agent, Dylan. That's all.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking. I was like, need a better agent.
There you go.
Yes.
Thank you for having me, though. Thank you.
Yes. No. Great meeting you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. So, So once again, everybody, go to DeniseBarnes2020.com. I dropped that link in the comments section for folks that are watching. You know, in my opinion, you know, you've done a great job up there, and you know, and it's been good to have you there, and you know, and Dr. Moreno, you know, standing up for the people in light of all of, you know, this these different things that have been pushed through by the current council majority. But elections matter, and so you know, this election is going to matter a lot for the people of Anaheim. And so I think it's important that we continue to support candidates like yourself and Dr. Jose Moreno and other grassroots candidates that are really standing up for seniors, for residents, for tenants, you know, for homeowners, landlord, but you know, just the community that, you know, that is the, as Tom Tate would always say, the fabric of, you know, of our communities, you know, and so that's it is still the city of kindness thing.
Amen.
Yeah, and it will be as long as Denise and Dr. Jose Moreno are still on the council. So wish you the best of luck. Councilwoman, thank you again for joining us. And we'll definitely be looking out for more from the campaign, and hopefully celebrating with you, you know, and all the other people on November 3rd. So.
Okay, well, I feel very privileged to be here. It's like on Saturday Night Live for the first time.
There you go. Nice. Yes. We'll have you back on soon.
All right. Thanks.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
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 Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's do a 10-second outro. Yeah, definitely. I love the don't mess with the voters.
Don't mess with
the voters.
You know, I mean,
that's right.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, there's some things that you can fool people with, but it's like you can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. So
yeah, you can fool some people every time, though.
That's true. Damn it. And they're called Trump supporters.
And
Or QAnon.
yeah, I was gonna say I won't name them, but I mean,
Guys, don't worry. Just vote for me again, and I'm gonna make all your dreams come true.
I'm your platform. Yes.
Oh man, I can't wait to go home and watch Don Jr., who apparently was the keynote speaker of tonight's Republican thing. But yeah,
Really?
I think so.
right.
One of the speakers.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nepotism.
They don't got much.
Continues.
They're
Yeah,
having,
there's only family members left.
yeah.
Everyone else is zooming in from federal prison.
Yeah, they have the kid that with the MAGA hat that stood grinning at the
Oh, the smirker guy?
smirker guy.
Yeah.
They got the Ken and Karen, GI Ken and
Oh
Karen
my god.
with the guns. And
Why would they pick them? Because
I want to hear it.
yeah.
A bunch of C-list actors, and I don't know.
It should be entertaining.
It'll be cool. I mean, we'll drink before.
Yeah. That helps. It always helps.
It'll help.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So our producer is saying we got to wrap this up. That's it.
Yeah.
They're gonna pull the plug if we don't say our farewells.
Yeah, this is actually my third strike, so it's been it's been wonderful being co-host. I want to say goodbye to the listenership.
Yeah.
In particular, our super fans, Ben.
Yeah. I don't.
Anyway,
Yeah.
they're super fans.
Yeah.
Among others. So you know who you are. And mahalo.
Yeah. And child marriage resolution tomorrow. Yeah. All right. You heard it from Dr. Bueno. Yeah. So Jose, Wesley, David, Tamara, Nia, and John Armstrong. Brian posted a lot. It was a lot, but Alfredo and yeah, all y'all that tune in for the first time, please like and follow It's Happening show. We are the best podcast in Orange County because we are the only one that talks about politics with a satirical twist. And we're almost 6 years, buddy. Next month, September, we will be
our anniversary
our
show.
6th year anniversary. Man, yeah, we'll have to celebrate somehow.
It'll be special. We won't have a guest. I'll come in. We'll have a nice steak, maybe some champagne, and it'll just be like dinner with Jose and Dylan. How's that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a candlelight. We'll reenact the Lady and the Tramp spaghetti.
Yeah, the spaghetti.
Yeah.
Except it'll be like a big old meatball.
Thanks, John Armstrong, for giving props to my surprisingly good Trump.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You have honed it,
I have.
and it is like kind of its own thing. Also, like you have your own spin on. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
also. Yeah, good observation there, audience. It is surprisingly good. Okay, we're ending the show. We're already over.
Show. That's it.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you for everybody that tuned in for the first time. We're here every Monday. We'll be back next Monday, I believe. And yeah, we'll have more candidates on, surprises, first timers, first time candidates, and so much more. So I want to thank video engineer Edgar Silva and Iron Lion Media Studios.
Iron Lion Media. Okay.
Being awesome. And yeah.
I'm helping the outro.
Wow.
Yes.
Anything else, Dylan?
Iron Lion Media.
I think we're getting the plug.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Sorry.
So Iron Lion Media.
There you go. We need that lion roar. Yes.
I.
Surprisingly bad lion impression. I mean,
All right, from Dylan Thompson, Jose Gloria, and all of us here on in the It's Happening family, we are signing off.
It's happening.
¿Lo ves? Te han cegado de realidad para no ver lo que es verdad. Te han engañado, no es libertad, lo que tú vives es vulgar. Ser un esclavo sin descansar mientras que el burgués se aprovecha de tus labores. Hay que luchar para vencer este sistema capital.